I want to thank you for having us into your classroom today. Today's session is to provide you an opportunity to gain more insight and exposure in the field of manufacturing and to assist you in analyzing your own future career choices. So today's guests are Amanda Albers, Human Resources Manager, and Bill Trumbull, Production Manager from Amphenol Advanced Sensors, which is located on Windfall Road in St. Mary's. I'll be asking them some questions about their company and career paths, and then opening it up to you guys for any questions that you may have. We also have Terry Hinton from the Northern PA Regional College, and she will be sharing at the end some of their programs that are related to manufacturing. So let's go ahead and get started. Amanda, if you'd like to just start by telling us a little bit about Amphenol and what your role is.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting us. So Amphenol Advanced Sensors, I'm sure you guys have heard at one point or another, we've been a few different things. Most recently, we became Amphenol Advanced Sensors in 2013. Previous to that, we were GE Sensing. So our building here in St. Mary's is pretty cool. It is actually the headquarters for the Advanced Sensors business. We are a global company. We are a Fortune 500 company. So while our footprint is small and we're in a small community, we're actually a very, very large company. With that comes a lot of great opportunities. We're a manufacturing facility, but we also have some opportunities for everyone. Because we are the headquarters site, we have engineering, design engineering here, electrical and mechanical. We have manufacturing engineering, automation engineering. We have accounting, several different types of accounting positions, customer care, buying, planning, purchasing, plus any manufacturing job you could think of here. We've got several different manufacturing positions. We have maintenance as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities that require 4-year degrees, 2-year degrees, or no experience at all. We do hire interns. We have an intern program that we bring people in for a lot of our different positions for interning. COVID has kind of changed that a little bit this past year. So hopefully next summer we can get back on track with our intern program. But we have had a lot of successful interns here, and in turn, they now have full-time positions with us. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door. We do that with 2-year programs, and we do that with our 4-year programs as well, because it's important to gain good experience. So we're willing to help you gain that. Was there any other questions, Amy, on that?
Yes, thank you. No, I think you did well covering all of that. So Bill, can you tell us a little bit about your career pathway and the decisions you have made since you graduated high school?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, as Amy said, my name is Bill Trumbull. I'm currently the operations manager here at the site. This company I've had 43 years with. Actually 46 years ago, I was sitting in the same place you are right now, wondering what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. But one of the things I can urge you to do is reach out to your school counselors and talk to people, talk to the teachers, and you got big decisions to make, and you've got to make them in a very short period of time. In several months you're going to be graduating. So once I did that, the school counselor knew where I was headed. I wanted to stay in the area. I wanted to start a family. So I really didn't have much desire at that point to go on to college or even a 2-year degree. I just wanted to get out into the workforce. So fortunately for me, one of the local businesses contacted the school counselor in February and asked them they told them they had three positions open. It was actually at the Pepsi bottling company out on the $1 Million Highway. They had 3 positions open, and they were looking for graduating seniors, and the job was going to start immediately after graduation. So I was one of 7 that was chosen to go out and do the interview. And of the 7 that went out, 3 of us were chosen to take the positions. So I graduated on a Sunday, Monday was a holiday, and started work on Tuesday, and I've been working ever since. So I spent 2.5 years out there, actually worked up into a floor supervisor job. Looking again to start a family. I wanted to make a little bit more money, so I had the opportunity to start off. At that time, the business was owned by Keystone Carbon Company downtown. So I started off as an engineering assistant. I did that role for probably a year and a half, and then they asked me to take on a production supervisor role. I was responsible for a little over 100 people. I did that job for quite a while. I was in that role for about 18 years. Then the company was acquired by General Electric, and they saw the potential, and I was fortunate, and they asked me if I'd take on a plant manager role. So I did. I was plant manager for 14 years, and here last year I decided, well, it's time to retire. I've had enough time to go out and enjoy myself a little bit, spend more time with my grandkids. So I announced my retirement, and we brought in a new plant manager. Unfortunately, I've had the opportunity to work with him for the last year or so, getting him up to speed and taking on the plant manager responsibilities for the site. So hopefully within the next couple of months, I'll be riding off into retirement. So again, part of that, I mentioned the school counselors, the teachers. You got big decisions to make. I know things are done online nowadays, but pick up a local newspaper. Take a look at the jobs that are available out there today. If you're planning on staying in the area, or get online, Monster, Indeed, or is it Indeed? Yeah, Indeed. They're all advertising, and anywhere in the world actually. But it'll give you a good opportunity to see what's out there, what's available, where do I need to go from here? Do I need to go on to a 2-year degree? Do I want to go to college? You got some big decisions to make.
Thanks, Bill. That's some great advice. So I know that you're heading out of the workforce here in the next couple of months, but what kept you motivated throughout the years with your job to kind of with your promotions, moving up? What do you think kept you motivated to do that?
I always have liked learning more and more. I love working with people. That's what I like about the supervisory and the management type positions I've had, because I just love working with people. It's good to go home at the end of the day and know that you've done the best you could. Maybe you've helped somebody out that day. So it's important to do that. And I guess going forward, some of my advice would be to tell people thank you. It means a lot to people when they're told thank you, and it means a lot to you when somebody says thank you, to you for something you've done. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
So I think I'll throw this out to both of you, because I think that you, Amanda, as HR, you might have some different answers, but how can someone entering this career or industry stand out from the crowd?
I think, from my standpoint, I interview a lot of different people for a lot of different roles, and no matter how fancy the paper that their resume is written on, no matter how fancy their education is, how many years of experience they have, at the end of the day, when we sit down and we decide on who the candidate is that we're going to bring on board, it comes down to attitude. It truly does. It comes down to their willingness to learn. It comes from their ability to work with others, demonstrate that. So even if you don't interview well, it's not anything to panic about. It comes with practice and time, but it's attitude. It's how you come across in an interview, that you're willing to learn, that you are a self-starter, that you have good work ethic. Those things are really important, and those things are hard to write down on a resume and on a piece of paper. Those are things that you can show through the interview, and that's what will make you stand out.
Yeah, I think enthusiasm goes a long way. I know when you go into an interview, everybody's nervous. sometimes even the people that are doing the interview are somewhat nervous, but to show that enthusiasm, that willingness to learn, kind of to follow up on your previous question, some of the other responsibilities I've taken on at the site have been environmental health and safety manager. And I was actually trained by OSHA to do OSHA audits. And those were all opportunities that came across and I volunteered for them. So show that willingness to volunteer, to step up, do a little extra. It will pay off in the end.
So Bill, over the years, have you had to continue with taking courses or, getting certifications, anything like that?
Absolutely. Some of the courses I've taken over the years, and fortunately I can say that every one of them had been provided by the company because they saw my willingness to learn, my willingness to advance, supervisory skills. I wasn't real strong in finance when I got into the plant manager role, and the company recognized that. And I told them, when I interviewed for the role, I'm not strong from a financial standpoint, business finance. So they actually offered to send me to Penn State Du Bois for courses down there on business finance. I've been down to different places, CEC. So I'd urge the kids, once they get into the workforce, take advantage of those opportunities. The CEC has some great offerings. The local colleges, if you find something, there's a lot of companies in the area. I know we're one of them. If you want to take a course that is in line with what you're doing, what your career path is, they're more than willing to pay for that. So there's plenty of opportunity out there. You just need to, and I know that Terry's going to talk a little bit about that later on, but you take advantage of those. And I mentioned earlier that I've had the opportunity to actually, and it was really neat, to go to an OSHA training site and spend time with the OSHA inspectors. And I brought a lot of good things back to the site that I could see, okay, if we do have an inspection, these are things that need to be fixed. So the company benefits from it, and they know that. That's why they do these things.
So have you had to do any traveling with your position?
Oh yeah. I've been out of the country. I've been to China. I've been to Mexico. I've been darn near in every state in the union here, so, except Alaska. Various things, because I had taken on responsibilities for multiple sites at a certain point. Responsible for a site in Edison, New Jersey. I've been to our sites in Tijuana, Mexico, and Changzhou, China. There's definitely travel opportunity.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add at this time?
Let me look through some of my notes here. I had some things jotted down. Some of the best advice, we talked a little bit about that, but speak up. Let people know your opinion. No idea is a bad idea. I've seen too many times people with a lot of potential. They're somewhat intimidated. They get into a room with a bunch of engineers or management personnel, and they just want to sit there and take it all in. But don't be afraid to step up and speak your mind, give your opinion. Some of the people, especially the people that work out there on the floor, they're the greatest source for making improvements. Let people know, and volunteer. When you get into the workforce, and you show your enthusiasm by volunteering. If somebody, it's a few extra hours a day, definitely step up, because it means a lot when people like myself in management. I've had the opportunity to sit in on a lot of interviews over the years, and like Amanda said, it's show that enthusiasm. Let people know that you're willing to go that extra step.
Amanda, and about the whole speaking up, I know that sometimes employees will tend to want to advance, but they don't let that be known. So, how open is Amphenol to if people want to advance, I guess, encouraging them to let you know so that you can kind of help guide them and direct them to get them where they want to be within the company?
Sure. We actually talk about that all the time. When new positions open up, the first place we look is internally. And sometimes you don't know a lot about people or what their background is, or if they're even interested in changing a role or moving forward. So we post it in the plant first before I post it publicly. Post it in the plant. My door is always open. Bill's office is right next door to mine, and his door is always open. And we do that. We allow people who maybe they're nervous, they're afraid, well, I'm not qualified, to give them the opportunity to come talk to me. We talk one-on-one about the job, and can discuss. We can even, I've done it for several people. We sit down and even have a mock interview so that they can feel a little more confident when they go into the interview with the hiring manager, of how that's going to go. So we make those opportunities available for everyone here on site.
Well, I mentioned earlier about letting, at this point in your life, letting the school counselor know what your interests are. When you do get into the workforce, let your management know what your interests are. Talk to people.
That's very good advice. And just to help the kids kind of understand a little better, like what are some of the end products, that your products go into? So the device that we manufacture is an electronic device, and it's called a thermistor. And a thermistor is a temperature sensing device. So a lot of the application is automotive. We're probably 80% automotive here. We do have some medical applications, and we also have some industrial applications. So the automotive applications, so oil temp sensing, these are all things that show up on your dashboard and tell you that your oil temperature is too high, or what's your outside air temperature, and what's your transmission temperature, is your transmission overheating. So we make those devices, and we make those for the big automotive, Nissan, Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, for all of them. More than likely, if you have one of those vehicles, it's got several of our devices in it. And then in the medical side, the thermometers, when you go to the hospital and they check your temperature, they put the thing in your ear, those are made here. And from the industrial side, appliances, televisions, things like that, use anything that has to do with being able to sense temperature. And we also have a laboratory type environment where we produce a product that monitors laboratory environments for the pharmaceutical industry. So they measure temperature, humidity, all those things in the pharmaceutical industry. And correct me if I'm wrong, like during this whole pandemic shutdown, I believe you guys were able to continue due to your like products that go into healthcare. Yeah, because of the medical industry. Yep. So so that's important, for students to understand too, that, there's essential jobs, that people could continue working during that shutdown. So that's important to know too. Absolutely. So Chris, does anybody, do any of the students have any questions at this time? Nothing yet. Nothing yet, okay. Terry, do you want to kind of join us in here now and talk about some of your programs?
Absolutely. First of all, just let me say, I would love to have a job at Amphenol. So if you have any openings, I'm there. You guys make a very great presentation for your company. I'm just really impressed with your stories about what you do, what you produce, as well as your career path. I think that's really important for these students to hear. And this could be any of you. What Bill has accomplished could be any of you, right? I think that's the point here. I work for the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College. How many of you, by raise of hands, show your hands if you have heard of us? Raise your hands if you've heard of the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College. I see Amanda's raising her hand. Thank you. And while I work for a college, I'm going to say something interesting, and you're probably going to be shaking your head, but that is not everyone needs to go to college, right? And why would I be saying that to you when I work for the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College? The reason I say that to you is because you can get a very good paying job without having an expensive college education to pay back. And Bill is a perfect example of someone who has demonstrated that. What I do for the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College is I'm on the workforce side of the house. And that basically means that I help people like you, or like people who maybe even your parents have been dislocated in their work or coming back for a second career, by finding the right kind of opportunity that meets your needs, that is specific for you, that is a training opportunity that may be a short term. One of the really nice things about our college is that we provide 2-year degree programs. Some of you might be interested in those, but I suspect that for the short term means you can get a training certificate in less than 16 weeks and be able to make probably more money than I make today. These are the things that my college can do. And I'm not doing a sales pitch, but I just want to share a couple things with you. By a show of hands, how many of you think that you're going to stay in this area? Just raise your hand. There's no, okay, very good. That is really encouraging to see. Well, one of the things that I do in my job is I assess the needs of the local workforce, and we offer trainings that are really pertinent to you guys, to this particular area. What you might have read or heard about our commercial driver's license training program, which is only 4 weeks long. 4 weeks, you can get your Class A certificate to drive not just a semi-tractor, but when you think about even the pandemic, all the delivery drivers, everything medical, there's been such a need for truck drivers across the entire industry sector. So our program, Commercial Driver's License, is offered in conjunction with the CEC, our college, and PA Pride. So we have a site at Calmont Park where we actually do the training, the on-site training itself. So it's 4 weeks, 1 week in class and 3 weeks on the road. Every one of those students that have gone through this program are now working. Now, some of you might not be interested in truck driving, but there are so many opportunities. We have 24 different classes that are only 8 weeks long. Think about that for a minute. 8 weeks long compared to a 4-year degree that costs almost, $50,000 or more, right? We are affordable, accessible, and achievable. The other training opportunity I just want to throw out to you, and I know not all of you are going to work in powder metal, but we have an introduction to powder metallurgy program that has been really successful. And the reason is that we have people like Bill and Amanda, experts in the field, coming in to talk to the students. The students, they range in ages, and it is a minimum of 8 weeks. We have 4 parts, so you could take all 4 parts, or you could take just 1 part. But it's offered in the evening from 6:30 to 9. But you get to hear from leaders like Bill, who are working in the field. They can give you tips that no one else can give you. No textbook is going to share with you. So that program has been really, really pretty successful. And if you're interested, I have catalogs I'm going to share with Chris. It's affordable, and perhaps we can even work out an arrangement with your school to let you have some release time, but that would have to be discussed with Chris. one of the other things I wanted to say that when Bill was talking, he mentioned travel. You know, when you grow up in St. Mary's, there isn't a lot of perhaps money in your families to travel. And even when you go to college, study abroad opportunities are incredibly expensive. My son went to Jordan last summer and it was like $10,000 for him to go. But if you work in this industry, if you work in manufacturing, you are going to have to travel in your work. We are globally connected now. And what an opportunity to see the world when you're actually working in the field, right? I thought that was a really good point, Bill. So thank you for bringing that up to these students. But NPRC is an opportunity for anybody coming from any walk of life to start slow and to build. We actually have an associate degree that I don't really run because I work more in workforce and continuing ed, but the associate in applied technology might appeal to some of you guys, because that program can enable you to work in any part of manufacturing and earn some really nice money. Plastics, powder metal, electronics, hydraulics. Some of these things may sound foreign to you because it's kind of foreign to me too. But that program is going to be a state-of-the-art program. And I say going to be because we still have to run that. The pandemic's kind of put the kibosh to enrollments in that program for this fall, but we're hoping by next fall we'll be able to get that program up and running. My coworker and colleague, Mr. Frank O'Connell, is the person and the faculty member who's running that program. So I guess right now it would be important to engage some of you and hear from you about what it is that you want. What are some thoughts or questions that you have? And, you know, we're just here answering questions for you. We have no stake in the game here as far as, you know, selling seats in our classes, but I'm just curious to know what's your biggest concern? What are your fears about going out into the workplace? Is there somebody who wants to raise their hand and ask a question? Or perhaps, Chris, you might have some questions for us, for me, for the employers on the call right now.
Hey, it's Mr. Schreiber here. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Mr. Schreiber?
Good. It's been about a week since I've talked to you last, I think.
Hi, yes, I can hardly see you. You look really small, but I can hear you.
I'm way in the back, so
Hi.
So a lot of these guys have jobs already currently. If they were interested in taking one of your programs, like a lot of the ones that you're talking about are 4 weeks, could they work while they were in the program? Is that something that to maybe progress in their field or you know, get some kind of promotion, et cetera?
Yes, many of our students in our programs are already working. I like to call that upskilling, so that if you're in a specific job and you want to learn a new skill or training, you can upskill to get a promotion. The program, most of our courses are offered between the hours of 4 to 9 at night. The CDL is an exception because that is during the day because it's only 4 weeks long. So it's 4 weeks during the day from about 8 to 4. But yes, most of our students are in jobs, but they come to our courses in the later afternoon and early evening. Did I answer that question, Mr. Schreiber?
Yeah. Yes, you did. Thank you.
So, Mr. Schreiber, oh yes, please.
The students may be wondering, where do they go to take these courses?
That is a very good question. The way our college operates across the 9 counties of Northwest Pennsylvania, yes, 9 counties we serve, we have what's called site locations where we offer our courses in a virtual format, but it's face-to-face, kind of like the the Facebook portal experience, the Zoom model here. But we have a faculty member who is actually at one of our 20 sites. So that faculty member can teach to a small group of students, but the class is actually broadcasted to several of our locations across the Northwest area. So what it does is it maximizes the potential for enrollment, because it's hard to run a class when you only have 3 of you, right? But when you broadcast it out, there's potentially 20 students that can be in that one class at the different locations. So it would be like this, but I would be the Chris in the room teaching to all of you, but it would be broadcasted to all of the other locations. It's called Starleaf, is the platform that we use, kind of like Zoom. But we do have 20 different locations, and the CEC is one of our locations in Elk County. We have a location at Emporium at the high school and at the Coudersport Education Center. Probably those would be most applicable to any of you. These are great questions. What else, teachers in the room, might these students be wondering that they can ask us about?
How about, since these guys are all seniors, like, is this something that you have to wait until you're done with high school to enroll in? Is it something that they could start looking into now?
For most of our programs, you can actually start now. The EMS program that we have is probably the one that does have an age requirement, but the other program, like the powder metal, you could conceivably start right now. It is, you know, it's open to any student, any age, as long as, and there would be some parent permissions if you're under 18 because of COVID and because of privacy. But as far as being able to take the courses, yes, you are certainly welcome. You might even be able to be eligible for some funding sources through the WIOA program or through one of the CareerLink funding sources, and we can certainly look at that as well for you. The dual enrollment is another opportunity if you're looking for academic credit. Now remember, my programs are non-credit workforce, but the dual enrollment opportunity does allow you to have credit that you can carry to some certain colleges and apply to a degree down the road. So by a show of hands, if I can see you all, how many of you actually have jobs right now that you are going to stay in when you graduate? Just a few of you, okay. All right. So Amy and Chris, are there other things that I didn't cover that you would like to see me address with this group?
I cannot think of any right now. I think you did well, you know, covering everything that you offer, great opportunities for the students to learn about. So thank you.
Absolutely. And you know, like I said, I went to college, and at the time that was my only option. In some ways, you guys are in a better position than ever before because college is expensive, but it's still an option for you, but you don't have to jump in. You can take it slow and dip your toes in the water with a place like NPRC. So I just wanted to throw that out to all of you, and I appreciate the time. And I know it's a tough time to make these decisions, but you are in a good position despite our pandemic. Any questions from Amanda or Bill about the college's programs? We do customized trainings. I'm just going to throw that out there as a plug. If you have any need for training for your employees, don't hesitate. We do everything from soup to nuts to leadership to communication to lean manufacturing. So let me just throw that out to all of you.
Well, Terry, I would love to maybe have a conversation with you separate of this forum here. So yeah, I definitely have some opportunity with each other. So yeah, I would love to talk. But I would also just love to say, in addition to what you've presented, is I know from my own personal experience, it's never a straight line. You know, the experiences you have and where you start out now. It's not a straight line. It doesn't have to be a straight line. As you get out in the workforce and learn about jobs, we do job shadowing here as well. You know, it's hard to know what you want to do until you get out there and you see it. So it's never a straight line. So I started out doing something completely different from HR, and that's okay. So keep that in mind.
Amanda, do you want to tell us a little bit about your career path? Did you start in some other position at Amphenol?
Actually, no, I knew I did not, when I was, you know, a couple years ago when I was 18. I didn't want to go to college. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't for me. I joined the military. I actually was a mechanic in the military. But ultimately, you know, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. When I got out of the military, I went to college. So it took a while. It took learning some things. It took gaining some experience out in the world before I really kind of knew what I wanted to do. And then went to college. So, you know, those paths are okay. And probably the best paths are not straight lines. So we gain a lot of different experiences through that. So
I think that's great
It's about
advice because, you know, students, I think that they have to, you know, make a final decision before they graduate. And, you know, that's not the case. Students, just want to let you know, it's okay to not have a, you know, full commitment to making a decision on something. Definitely, as Terry had said about dipping your toes, that is all okay to do. So we're just giving you these opportunities to hear from different people, to let you know what they've gone through and let you know their experiences so that you can kind of, you know, hopefully take something, something might resonate with you and help lead you in the right direction. Okay, so Mrs. Gavazzi, are there any like final questions from the group?
I think we're good.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, then I think we'll just go ahead and end this session today. I want to thank Amanda and Bill for joining us today, and for Terry with her education components. I look forward to Zooming in next month when we bring the students another panel of local manufacturers.
thanks.
So thank you, everybody.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck to you all.